The home stretch continues in Northeast Indiana as Fort Wayne FC once again play host with Westchester SC coming to town. The Autumn Gold and Black are riding on high vibes this week, while the visitors are looking for their first 3 points in a month. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Simon Evans on the broadcast. Can't wait to get this one started for you. It's been a packed week for Fort Wayne, Simon, as of late. Home opener last Saturday, and then a doozy of a match on Wednesday against Portland Hearts of Pine.
Yeah, absolutely. An exciting, sort of emotional week as well, opening up the new stadium. Big moments for this community and this club, going into the professional ranks, opening a new venue like this, and then having games like this to watch as well.
A 3-0 throttling of the Hearts and some dazzling goals at that. Tage Healy with an absolute stunner to close things off in that one. And also a clean sheet for Fort Wayne FC, which is something that Bernd Shipman's really going to enjoy. He's also one of the big key leaders of this team as one of the few vets on the roster.
Yeah, bringing the experience, a player who played his football in Germany, also represented Philippines in international football, but a lot of experience in this league as well. Somebody who can give that calmness to the defense and behind a young looking side.
They'll be looking to make it 2 in a row as far as zeros on the board are concerned. Flipping over to Westchester, this is a side that recently is trying to find some consistency, especially on the road.
Yeah, it's been difficult for them. Early season, they've struggled to find, as you say, that consistency. But there's talent in this team. There's exciting players in this team. Kuhn Blumenstein up front is somebody who's going to trouble the defense. And who knows what could happen with this side.
It's a side that certainly has the firepower to put a lot into the back of the net. Let's see if they can do it on the road today in the new stadium. It's Fort Wayne and Westchester coming up next on ESPN+. We have lineups and kickoff right around the corner. We'll see you then.
Partnership between O&E, Orthopedics Northeast, and Parkview Sports Medicine is unique because our team is taking care of the athlete in their own environment on the field. O&E is the other end of our treatment when someone actually does have an injury that requires a specialist care.
We have athletic trainers, we have the physical therapists, and everyone's important. Everyone has a role to play because our goal's the same. We're just trying to get these athletes back to doing what they love to do.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. Only they know how to celebrate with strangers as if they were lifelong friends. To lose their voice for weeks after chanting for 90 minutes. They are always ready to teach you the ways of football because to them, passion is meant to be shared. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
What does success look like to you? At Purdue University Fort Wayne, you have what it takes. In the herd, your voice will be heard, and you'll be able to lead, inspire, create, and succeed. When you earn your Purdue degree in our thriving city, you can have an impact.
Simon.
And that impact can change the world.
Game number 3 here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. Fort Wayne FC hosting Westchester SC, the first ever meeting between these two sides, which of course is a pretty common occurrence for an expansion team. Fort Wayne looking to see if they could string a second win together after winning on Wednesday. Westchester, it's been a hot minute since they've been able to collect all 3 points in a match. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. First off, for the home side.
Yeah, Fort Wayne with a familiar lineup there. It's the man up top, though, who people are going to be excited to see tonight. Lilian Ricol in great form, 4 goals already this season, and we'll see how he links up again with Ian Abbey and Oyotunde on the right, a product of Arsenal's academy coming into the league this season, and an exciting talent to watch.
Just 2 changes for Mike Avery from that Wednesday result. You don't want to change it too much after winning 3-0 in the midweek. On the other side of things, 3 changes for Westchester SC and the crew led by George Jokai.
Yeah, and it's that goalkeeper position that's been a torment really this week for Westchester. 2 goalkeepers injured. They've had to bring in Luca Marinelli on a short-term contract to resolve that problem, and hopefully he can settle in quickly. It's a tough situation for him. Keep an eye on Conor McGlynn as well in midfield, the older brother of Jack McGlynn, United States international midfielder who, of course, plays for the Houston Dynamo.
Not only is he good at anchoring things in the middle of the pitch, but also has 4 goals, plus another goal in the cup competition this season, Conor McGlynn. So been pretty productive on the offensive side, all things considered, despite being sort of a holding midfielder role.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's going to be interesting how that midfield works. They've pretty much packed the midfield, hoping that they can frustrate Fort Wayne, a team who like to get on the front foot. So let's see how they approach it.
Our head official for this match is Stefan Perry, and we are off and running here from the Roo. It's Fort Wayne and Westchester doing battle. Once again, Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here on the broadcast. We appreciate you tuning in on ESPN Plus. I look forward to seeing how this one unfolds for you here.
I tell you what, that turf looks beautiful, doesn't it? I know it's freshly laid, new turf, but it really does look nice.
No bumps to be found anywhere in it, according to Mike Avery, so it is in pristine condition. I mean, it only got laid down like a week or 2 ago, so it is being broken in by these players match by match.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a referee, though, isn't it, a surface? You don't want it to be the story. You don't want it to be part of things, and from what we've heard, it's really, really top-notch surface.
Here's Lily on recall, who checks back and taps it to JP Jordan. Check that, Reed Sproat, that's there over out wide. Center back pairing him and Thiago Dias. As Bert Shipman now has the ball at his feet, fresh off a clean sheet and an assist in that game on Wednesday. A match they won 3-0. Mike Avery mentioned that it felt much more settled than that home opener. Talked about how they didn't fully understand the jitters they were going to experience in that first home match, and this time around, from arrivals to warm-ups, they felt much more in control of the situation on Wednesday now that they had gotten that home opener out of the way.
Yeah, opening nights are like that, aren't they? People in the theatre world talk about opening night jitters and so on, and if you're coming in, and the club has invested so much in that night, in opening up this stadium, bringing the community in there, albeit in a limited capacity at this early stage. But, the buzz around the town, everyone talking about it. And as a player, that's difficult to deal with. That's some extra pressure on top of what you already got on yourself to get those 3 points.
They were able to find that first win at home in just the second outing after that 2-2 draw. The first time out at this venue. Just a week ago, by the way, so it's not like that game is too unfresh on the mind, I should say.
But yeah, you could see them playing with a little bit of liberation, and especially the second half of that game when the goals started coming. They looked to relax. Any tension that was there seemed to go out of them, particularly, Ian Abbey down the left, bursting forward. And I'm really interested to see how Daniel Oyatunde does, player coming in, being part of Arsenal's setup, which makes you think there's a talent there that maybe hasn't been developed yet.
Certainly offers the pedigree when you have such a massive club stamped on your name like that. Blumstein rolled over to McGlynn as Westchester tried to enjoy some possession here. 2 teams that do like having the ball. Westchester coming off of a loss on the road against Richmond, a game that really could have gone in any direction. You had several shots ding off the woodwork, several goal line clearances for Westchester, or I guess I should say for Richmond against Westchester. So moments that were very close to being goals for the visitors here today. George Jokai, the head coach, mentioning that he's been trying to stay even keel for the guys because this league can be kind of cruel. You win games you should have lost. You lose games you should have won, excuse me. And also, sometimes you get draws where you really don't know what you deserved in that game.
Yeah, and especially, we're still in the early part of the season, really, aren't we? We're looking at 6-7 games for either side. And we're talking about inconsistencies. But you look around the league, pretty much everyone's been inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's a very tight league, isn't it? And the patterns haven't been set up yet. We don't really know who are the front runners in the league, who are going to be the strugglers. So it feels that way for a number of teams, I think. But a result here for them today, I think any kind of result for Westchester on the road at Fort Wayne here, even a draw, would be a result that would encourage them and give them a feeling of solidity.
Foul committed here by Dean Guzin, which gives us a chance to give you tonight's injury report presented by Parkview Sports Medicine, keeping Fort Wayne FC healthy and match ready all season long. So none reported for Fort Wayne. A couple guys working their way on the men. Meanwhile, those are two very important names for Westchester. Hammersley and Molina, both goalkeepers. So the two guys they were expecting to hold down the fort in that capacity for the season, both unavailable. You mentioned Luca Marinelli getting picked up on the 25-day contract to start in this game. And then they're calling on Giuliano Santucci, the goalkeeping coach, to be the break glass in case of emergency backup goalkeeper here tonight as well.
Yeah, and how annoying and frustrating must that be for Matias Molina? You know, you're the backup goalkeeper. You've got to wait for your chances. They don't come along very often. Andrew Hammersley gets a hand injury last week, and then Molina himself suffering a knee injury just when he could have had his moment to sort of maybe establish himself and be the number one for the season. You never know. That's how it works in that position, isn't it?
It's so tough because, as you mentioned, it's not a scenario where you could share the load with your other fellow position mate, because, I mean, you're only having one goalkeeper on the pitch at a time as Westchester moving the ball down the pitch. Here's Guzin trying to cut by Jordan. He's privy to the motions and taps this one away.
Yeah, read that well, but Westchester getting in some interesting pockets of space there between the lines. That'll be very encouraging for them.
One major difference between these two teams coming into this game, of course, is the amount of time to prepare. Westchester last having played against Richmond last weekend. Meanwhile, of course, a midweek game for Fort Wayne means a little bit less time to turn around and get ready for this game, as this one's popped inside. And it's still up for grabs. Blumstein still trying to get on it, and Evans ripped off the post and blasted out of harm's way. Falls to the top for McGlynn. And Tate Healy able to smother. Play goes on. Oyatunde wins it for Fort Wayne. Tried to roll it out wide to Recall, and the pass was lacking quality.
It's a little bit too early with that pass. Oyatunde, that was a promising situation. Needed to carry it for another 3 or 4 strides and hope that his teammate could create an opening for himself. Didn't happen, but that early chance, yeah.
Frenetic and awfully close for the visitors, and what a tone that would have set. Now Healy, oh, he just scuffed that one. Pierre will venture forward. Going around to receive that pass. It'll be Reed Sproat who will dish it over to JP Jordan. On the ball, Jeremy Garay getting his first start in league play after starting in the USL Cup match against Lou City. 23 years old from Woodbridge, Virginia. Good amount of USL experience, Jeremy Garay, as Nicole helps in winning the ball back for Fort Wayne. You know, you mentioned earlier that the pitch, much like the ref, you don't want it to be the story. And honestly, when you said that they're similar, I also thought maybe you're going to be getting at, much like a ref, you have to kind of get used to what the pitch is going to give you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
The metrics here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium, it's a massive field, and there are certain pitches in USL League One that are tighter, smaller, and obviously that's going to affect the way you play the game and how you attack space. Here, obviously, there is more space to attack, and so that's going to be an adjustment, especially as the year goes along for teams coming in and playing Fort Wayne, as they'll have the chance to get more used to it game by game, whereas their opposition, for most of the year, it's going to be their first time playing at it and trying to get adjusted.
Yeah, it's the width, that's the possibilities it gives you, isn't it? The wide areas, You've not got that tight area from the corner flag to the edge of the penalty area that you sometimes see, especially with fields that have been converted from other sports. I like it. I like all that space out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't like seeing games that feel too compressed.
Sometimes that congestion can lead to lacking creativity, as we're going to take a peek at instant replay here. Tonight's instant replay presented by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day. Boy, did they come close earlier.
Yeah, it's an instinctive strike, and he's really unlucky there that it didn't go in.
Kyle Evans nearly notching his second goal of league play this season. Wasn't to be, but such a quality player, he'll be looking to fish for another opportunity as this game develops. Here's Alexi Armas, one of the 3 lineup changes for George Jokai. Certainly not unfamiliar with starting, though, his 5th start of the season. And he will launch this one into the penalty area. Headed along, nodded down and just wide. Blumstein, one on the receiving end of that one.
Well, we're saying how much width there is on this field, and there is a long throwing coming in, and it's a very long one, winning both headers. That'll really encourage Westchester.
Now you got to have some muscle to be able to launch it all the way from the touchline to the 6-yard box.
Then to win the initial header, win the second header as well. Fort Wayne won't be happy about that at all.
This one dragged back. Charlie Dickerson to his goalkeeper, Luca Marinelli, who hasn't had to do anything just yet. About 11 minutes into this match, Jokai calling him a great young man who had to make his debut last week against the Kickers, and he said, look, he got thrown into the pressure cooker and he held his own. So you talk about the frustration of a backup goalkeeper not being able to get the chance to prove yourself when, you know, you finally have the opportunity to play. Well, Luca Marinelli, a guy who was trying to break into a professional roster, couldn't find it at the beginning of the season, and now this opportunity arises, and I mean, this is a massive chance for him. I mean, if you perform well, either A, they sign you on full-time and you get to stay with the roster for the whole season, or at the very least, some professional clubs from around will catch an eye on you now you've got tape, as this one's whipped into the middle, headed straight down the center to Bernd Shipman.
Again, promising from Westchester. They're getting the openings, they're getting into the right positions, and they've hit the woodwork once. We've had Shipman having to make that save. I think Westchester will be feeling encouraged by the start to this game, this opening 12 minutes where they've been the better team, really.
Well, he's been the lone aggressor so far, that's for certain.
But yeah, you're right, just going back to that goalkeeper situation, you know, the backup goalkeeper is training week in, week out, and then missing out on the weekends and hoping that he gets, I mean, they always say they don't want the teammate to get injured, of course, but,
right,
you know, deep down inside, they're waiting for an opportunity, whether it's form or an injury. But if you're on the outside as a free agent, as a goalkeeper, you don't have a club, you're just trying to keep yourself sharp. You know, often guys are going to the park with their friends, seriously, I mean, just to, like, you know, have somebody shoot the ball at them. So to then be able to come in and get an opportunity like this, it could change the career.
It's even more difficult for goalkeepers because you do need a buddy who's going to shoot the ball at you, because it's not like you can just go to the park by yourself and practice your touch or anything. I mean, I guess you could, but that's not going to be too beneficial for a goalkeeper to practice. Michael Rempel having a conversation with our head official, Stefan Perry. There's Connor McGlynn donning the captain's armband for his side today. A little over a month since the last time Westchester were able to pick up all 3 points in a result. First ever meeting between these two sides. Always fun when you get to see a new concoction of what two programs look like when they clash up against each other. Armas. Swerving cross, punched away by Shipman. That one was searching for the top shelf.
Once again, a ball into the box, and once again, it's a Westchester player who's getting there first and making contact. I don't think we've seen a Fort Wayne defender win an aerial challenge yet in their penalty area.
Tonight's corner kick presented by More Wealth Management as it swung inside, and it will not make contact there with Bobby Pierre. The USL on the CBS Sports Network continues on May 13th with a primetime showdown. Newcomer AC Boise takes on high-flying FC Naples at 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, May 13th. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Ball will roll all the way back to Shipman. Fort Wayne tried to settle down and try to push this into the attacking half. So far, it's been all Westchester. Doing well, winning those aerial battles so far, especially on the set piece opportunities, as you mentioned, which is pretty notable because this is a Fort Wayne team that has been noted as being pretty good in the air. So definitely a positive for the visiting side to take away. Talking to Mike Avery, head coach for Fort Wayne. When looking at this Westchester team, he said that it's clear they are good building out the back, and talked about how they got to get that pressure right as this one's lofted towards goal and off target. He said that we might need to figure some stuff out on the fly in the game because they've got a little more time to prep for us, and so we'll need to lean on our principles at first and sort of react to how the game is developing. Which was funny enough, a similar sentiment that George Jokai was thinking about this game as well, about settling in and sort of figuring out what the game was going to ask of them. But so far, they've definitely been the aggressors, Westchester.
Yeah, they've come out and they've been positive. They've looked to attack the goal, whipped in some dangerous balls and won the headers. You know, we've had a shot against the woodwork as well. So, you know, very impressive start from Westchester, who don't look like a team with the kind of form sheet that they've got. They look pretty confident, don't they?
Oh, for certain. And you can even see as this game's going along, you can almost tell the confidence is just growing minute by minute for them. Dickerson down the line to Daniel Burko. Trying to jostle by Jordan. He's now stuck in the corner. Burko double teamed. Play will continue. Burko slow to get up as Reed Sproat will now hold the ball. Gray squares it over to Tague Healy, and he'll switch it out wide. Michael Rempel cuts inside. It's a Fort Wayne team that George Jokai described as very well coached and technically astute. Said you can't really overemphasize anything defensively because they have dudes out wide in the middle, ways they can hurt you in every avenue, so you can't really cheat and try to cover up one element defensively, or else then you're going to leave yourself exposed out somewhere else. So that's going to take a complete performance to get a result on the road. And as I mentioned already, he's hoping that they can settle in the first 20 minutes, learn what the game needs, and grow into the match. Well, they certainly didn't need a ton of time to grow into this match.
No, Tague Healy there encouraging his teammates to get forward and start pressing a little bit, because it has been too easy for Westchester to bring this ball out of the back. And we just haven't seen this final third here, really, Fort Wayne getting into positions or compressing the game at all.
Marinelli will boot this one to the halfway line, where several players will fight for the ball and not win it until it falls to J.P. Jordan. Ian Abbey, maybe the first time we're saying his name, at least in the context of him having the ball. pretty silent over there on the left-hand side so far. And I hope by some buzzing pressure here.
Sometimes with that kind of press, though, even if it's not your tactical game to go that way, it can get the team fired up a little bit, get things moving a little bit.
Lunging challenge there from Sproat, wins the ball back for Fort Wayne. Healy ripping it down the right side. Oyatunde chasing for it, but Bobby Pierre, he's also got some wheels. Guzin. Tap it over to the left-hand side, and it'll be returned to him. And he's tripped up. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish-language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. We're watching Fort Wayne and Westchester here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. 0-0 so far, but Westchester certainly been the side that have been begging to put something on the board first. I'll play this one all the way back to Marinelli. At this point, these two sides maybe starting to get to know each other more about what they can expect from their opposition. One thing that obviously really sticks out about this Fort Wayne team that I know interests you is just the international composition of this Fort Wayne roster, and something that's been apparently Mike Avery's MO over the last 30 years as a coach, and he talked about just how much he loves having guys from all over the place.
Yeah. Makes for a fun, interesting locker room. He was talking about the social life as well, you know, walking into a cafe and seeing guys from 5 different nationalities. And, you know, we see more and more of these international rosters in the USL. And it's going to continue, because if you look at college soccer, when there are teams with you know, players from 13, 14 different nationalities on it playing in the NCAA, and those players are going to be coming through into USL. So if you're a talented American player, you've got to be on your game.
This one sent across the middle, glance out, Blumstein will pick it up. Kun Blumstein getting his first start in USL League One action this season. Second-year player for Westchester, one of their returners. In the box, they're still trying to unlock something here. Healy gets by one sliding challenge.
Nice.
He'll roll it out to Recall. Recall jutting forward. Will let it go himself. And it'll end up bouncing wide. Lilian Recall with the brace last game.
Yeah, you do wonder sometimes when a player's just scored 2 goals, they're going to go for goal, but Daniel Oyatunde there, did he really get into a position where he'd have been a valid alternative? I don't think he did, so I think justified decision there from Recall to go for goal.
Tonight's corner kick is presented by More Wealth Management, helping individuals and families in Fort Wayne plan for a stronger financial future. First corner kick of the evening for the home side. Already been several set pieces for Westchester in different varieties in this match. Emerson Nieta will be the one on the service. That one drops down. That's a great catch from the goalkeeper. And an airborne player for the home team crashes down on the turf hard. We talk about effort there. Thiago Dias, the captain, who went well up in the air to try to win that one. Here's a look at it again on the Bowen Health replay. Yeah, he just gets upended.
Yeah. Rough landing. Good to see he's okay, though. But been better this, hasn't it, the last 5 minutes from Fort Wayne? We've seen more from them, a little bit more invention, a little bit more attacking intent.
Diego Diaz, the one who went down. One of those guys of the international flavor, as you were talking about the diversity of this group. And like Avery jokingly mentioned, yeah, you can go out to a cafe and you can see a Portuguese man, a Colombian, an Indiana native all there, and it sounds like the start of a joke.
Yeah.
But that's just their everyday life. Oya Tunde glances out, and another corner kick awarded.
We're starting to see the shape of this Fort Wayne attack that has caused teams problems this season. When you have Ayatunde on the right and Abbey on the left, and then you've got Recall down the middle. It's a three-pronged attack, really. And I think those are always entertaining to watch.
Another More Wealth Management corner kick here from Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. Emerson Nieta will be the one to drive it in once more from the right flag. Popped up in the air. And that is knocked well out of harm's way now for Westchester. Can it be kept in bounds? Not quite, but you appreciate the hustle. With the wider pitch, you have more opportunities to maybe keep some of those clearances in play. Yeah. Of course, though, with the turf, that ball's also going to travel pretty quickly as well. Michael Rempel not liking his options going forward, so he'll find his captain, Diego Diaz. Appreciate you tuning in here, and what is a packed slate of games in USL League One today, all across this Saturday. And then if you want to account for USL Championship as well, then there's even a larger plethora of matches that you could be choosing from. What a way to start, though, earlier. Chattanooga 4-1 against Sarasota Paradise. Matt Penley, 3 goals and an assist in that game. I mean, it's going to be tough to top that as far as player of the week is concerned. Sproat driving it forward. Sproat finds Recall. He lost the ball for just a moment. Lilian Recall ripping it in the middle. Nodded away. So after the bevy of chances for Westchester early on, it's now Fort Wayne that are trying to lay siege. With how good the start is for Westchester, you wonder what kind of logistical tweaks were made in the approach for this game in particular for George Jokai, because when talking about the team's inconsistency on the road, he mentioned that there's just so many massive obstacles in travel with connecting flights and just not sleeping in your own bed. And for young players, it's harder to show up to kick at 100% battery. Some vets in this league have figured out how to get closer to that 100% on the road, but it's difficult. And mentioned it's really not a tactics thing. It's just about those moving pieces, as this one's ripped across. It won't find any white jerseys.
Yeah, it takes it out of you, especially if you've got a midweek game, cup competitions and so on. You're on the road, coming back. I mean, it doesn't have to be a massive distance. It's just, I mean, we've done it. Yeah, you just get tired being around airports, sitting on planes, getting off, getting back on again, checking into your hotel. There's a problem. You've got to wait half an hour before you can check in, all that kind of stuff. And if you're doing that and then 6 hours later you're expected to perform at your peak as an athlete, you know, it's tough. I can understand what he means with that. And there's a lot of travel in USL, as there is in all American sports. It's a big country.
Yeah, this isn't quite like the 1 hour train ride up if you're playing in 3rd division in the English pyramid. I mean, you got so many teams that are all so close by, whereas close by here is a 3-hour flight.
Right. This is all a new thing for Fort Wayne as well, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Becoming a professional club, moving up a level. That compressed, you know, Mike Avery was talking about that as well, wasn't he? That compressed season you get in USL 2.
Yeah.
Where it's just a burst of summer football.
As this one slips through, Blumstein. It's a strong hand from Shipman. trying to stretch the keeper, but Bert Shipman with a paw knocks it away.
And Blumstein will feel he should have buried that one, but that is an excellent save.
Shipman, once again, making a big stop here in the first half. Had 4 saves with that clean sheet on Wednesday. And through nearly 30 minutes, he's had to step up big time here to keep it 0 on the board. Now Oyatunde rolls this one back to Jordan. Fort Wayne will look to see if they can test the goalkeeper on this end of the pitch. Garay back over to Jordan. Not going to force anything here, Fort Wayne.
Yeah, recycling the ball well though, patient. They were looking for the gaps, there weren't any. Don't waste the ball, don't just pump it in there hoping something will happen. Keep possession, bring it back round, start again, and here we go, you finally get some space.
Jordan trying to catch him off guard. Oyatunde was waiting in the middle. Blumstein now has a trio of defenders around him. Big save there earlier from Bernd Shipman, and obviously that's something he provides as an experienced goalkeeper, but I think the experience is the really important facet that he brings to this team right now. Such a young roster, and then Shipman at 31 years old, a guy that not only has played professional ball, but he's played in USL League One for several years, so he knows the ins and outs of this league, which has not only been helpful to the players, but also to the staff, as Westchester are looking to test Shipman once again. Ball ripped in the middle. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. Guess it clipped off of Kyle Evans last after Shipman got a piece of it. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. But to continue that thought on Bernd Shipman, Mike Avery mentioned that, you know, he gets to talk to the staff about the different teams in this league, the players he's familiar with, even the venues and the different intricacies that are required of every stadium that you have to play in USL League One. Mentioned he's a great guy and provides an awesome example of what it takes to be a pro to these young players who are in their first year as a professional.
Yeah, you need players like that. I mean, it's great for them to have such a young roster, especially coming in as a new team in this division. But you need those pockets of experience as well. And he's a good goalkeeper. I mean, we just saw with that save there that he was smart. He didn't overcommit himself, kept himself firm, made himself big, and then the outstretched arm did the job. Kept his side on level terms here.
Yeah, the experience is all well and good, but if you could stop a bunch of shots, then
it's
you're
pretty handy being a
roster.
keeper. Yeah.
Sproat lifts this one over top, searching for Oyatunde. Haven't had a ton of success getting runners behind in this game, Fort Wayne. Able to do that a lot in their first 2 home matches, but so far Westchester's been able to keep pace. Good turn from Nieto. Now Ian Abbey trying to wave for some movement, and you can see he's still gesturing to his teammates about what he's looking for and what he's anticipating. Like you mentioned, we're still in the early stages of the season. These guys are still trying to get on the same page with each other.
Yeah. And Ian Abbey just wants to get at them and get at goal, doesn't he? Every time you can see. Do the smart thing there, laying off, but he's always available for the ball. He's always looking to make something happen.
Garay. Running it forward. Slices it down to Rempel. Gets it into Rico. He leaves it for Healy! Another banger from Tag Healy! 3 games at the Roo, 3 goals for the first-year pro.
Absolute pure confidence is what this finish is all about. We saw him in midweek, taking it first time without even thinking. Clever leave there, but he has to adjust as well. It's just a little bit behind him. Not an easy finish at all. Stops himself, but just swings that boot through beautifully, and he had no doubt whatsoever that that ball was going into the back of the net.
Fort Wayne FC goals are brought to you by All American Stores, celebrating every score with hometown pride right here in Fort Wayne. And Tay Healy giving this hometown crowd a lot to be proud of these past few matches. First goal in the history of this stadium, scores a scorcher on Wednesday, and that one's pretty darn good too.
It was excellent finish. Nothing that Luca Marinelli, the standing goalkeeper, could have done with that. And now Westchester, having had the better 2 or 3 opportunities of the opening half hour, find themselves a goal down. It's a cruel game sometimes, but I think this is setting itself up really well for an exciting second half here, because I just get the feeling Westchester aren't going to settle for a point. I was saying at the start that a draw wouldn't be a bad result for them, but they've come here and played some good positive attacking football and got a goal behind. They'll be determined to turn this round.
Well, at some point you're expecting a whistle here from Oyatunde. Gave him a nice warm hug for about 15 yards there, and he'll get the yellow. Keeping Bobby Pierre from pushing forward, who has already made a foray or 2 in this game from the center back spot. So Oyatunde, our first booking in this match. Yellow cards tonight are presented by Arnold Terrell, Ridenour Attorneys at Law, as we see it on the Bowen Health replay.
You're right in front of the referee.
Arnold Terrell, Ridenour Attorneys at Law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. Daniel Oyatunde with his 3rd yellow card of the season. Can Westchester throw a counterpunch here now? They've been good on these set pieces. That one dealt with, though. Dickerson making a run forward, dribbling through a couple of black shirts. Now recall as Healy, or excuse me, that's Abbey running. And it's tapped out to Healy. Healy inside, recall. Not enough venom on that one, nor was it on target. So Marinelli will scoop it up.
No, but that was a very promising move, and I think that was exactly the kind of move that Mike Avery will be really pleased to see. His 3 front men all linking up with each other, posing a threat, going forward. And an understanding, you know, you were saying they haven't been playing together that long, but you can start to see an understanding there, especially, you know, I think the way that Rico moves around. We've seen him, yes, he's the main central striker, but he's also popping up on the left, popping up in the right, dropping into the hole behind the front line. So it's a really interesting forward line that they've got.
Now with that touch from Oyatunde, squares it to the middle. Healy lays it up for Abbey. Blocked away. Another tantalizing opportunity goes to the wayside.
Unselfish there from Healy, but I just wonder if he shouldn't have gone for that himself. He's confident, he's just put one in the back of the net. He's got a great left foot. And Abbey was a little bit stationary there, caught flat-footed a little bit. So I think maybe these are decisions you make in split seconds, but maybe he could have had a go himself there.
You gotta appreciate the unselfishness of a guy who just scored pretty much at the penalty area, laying it up. But I mean, yes, sometimes you gotta be selfish as a striker.
Wasn't quite there. Wasn't quite there as a clear-cut chance, but when you look at Abbey caught flat-footed a little bit. But again, promising for Fort Wayne.
I mean, you gotta love the trust too that in a spot like that, that you're instinctually laying it off to a guy to your left and expecting them to be ready for it. You know, next time Ian Abbey will certainly be more on his toes if a similar opportunity arises. Could even be a month or two from now, but he'll be remembering that. How about that dribbling work from Evans? Still going. Back out to Blumstein. He'll play it across the middle. Knocked down and then popped away by Diash. Daniel Burko was awaiting behind him. That was excellent work there. First initiated by Kyle Evans, getting through some traffic. Finding Blumstein out wide. The reward they reap is a corner kick. Dean Guzin on the service. Diash gets on the receiving end of that one. Could be a second swing here. Guzin running out of real estate. It's closing in on him. Both of those midfielders, Jeremy Garay and Emerson Nieto, just walling him off. So it'll be another long throw. Already seen the length be demonstrated here as it's launched into the penalty area once more. The whistle sounds as both players go down, and certainly going to be some indignance in response from Westchester. Maximus Jennings slow to get up, colliding with Ian Abbey. And that's right, Michael Rempel, actually.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Both players going for the ball there. I don't think there's a foul or any intent of a foul, but just getting caught on his ankle there with a slightly late challenge.
Maximus Jennings, the one being called here, has had to be a flexible player for George Jokai in Westchester this season. He's a right back by trade, but they've had him both at that right back spot, along with having to be plugged in at center back. But they like him out wide, running up and down the line. But they've been so hurt, not only at goalkeeping, but also just along that back line, pieces that they're hoping to get back here soon. And he has been pretty valuable for his versatility, Maximus Jennings. You really need that at this level in the league, just guys who can play at several positions.
Yeah. They're not carrying squads of 32 players like Premier League clubs where they can have 6 central defenders in their roster. Head knock there.
Rico back up on his feet. He's got to be cautious about head contact.
Nod on him there. But yeah, refs these days under instructions. If it's a head injury, stop the game, get the player looked at, and quite right too.
Good look there from Stefan Perry, our head official, and so he'll go over to the sideline to get checked on, and should he get all the clearances necessary, he'll be waved back onto the pitch. Just a couple more minutes left here in the first half. Westchester very positive to start this game. Fort Wayne then started to build into the match, and Tague Healy, the one who has put Fort Wayne up front, scoring his 4th goal of the season, just his 7th League One match in his first year as a pro.
I think it's been a good half of football, this. I think, you know, it's a really good commercial for USL One, really. Here you've got a team playing in a brand new 9,000-seater stadium with a brand new surface, young players from around the world. 2 teams that are well matched, trying to score goals, play positive soccer. This is great.
You could not use the word cagey to describe this match. This one has been up and down the pitch, both sides throwing jabs and seeing what can land. Sproat, the long ball, Recall trying to chase it down, but instead it's Dickerson, but Healy keep crashing in. Now Oyatunde with some room to operate. Oyatunde right at the corner of the penalty area. We'll play it back to Nieto. Rempel. Got the assist on that goal. Nice little dummy from Recall on the play as well. Nieto progressing. It's always what you want to see when you're in possession and you've got the other team in a low block. That horizontal shifting, just trying to see if you can wiggle them out of shape.
Yeah, they've done that very well. It took them a while, didn't it? You know, the first 15 minutes we saw none of that, but once they got settled into the game, got their key midfielders and forwards involved in the game, then they've kept possession very well.
Gonna get 2 minutes tacked on here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. And I think it's worth acknowledging that they have to sort of get acclimated to what it's like playing in a midfield without the likes of Javier Armas, whom isn't starting in this game, and he has started every other league match so far this season and has been allotted by Mike Avery as sort of the guy that makes this team tick. So kind of learning how to play without him on the pitch. Pretty valuable stuff. Pierre on the ball. Rolls it up to Dickerson. One back by Fort Wayne Nieto on the ball. Looking to see this one to the halftime whistle, up 1-0. That one deflected straight up in the air by Daniel Bowman, who's having to sit back further than usual in the formation, just having to plug in along that back line, given that lack of availability for head coach George Jokai. Rempel double teamed and now running this one to the corner. Keeping it out of play, Daniel Burko. We're going to get a free kick, and who's to say if we're going to get any action after this ball's put back in play as we hit the 2 minutes. Well, Stefan Perry be gracious here. Or is this nothing but a ceremonial kick? This one rolled up. Trippage, play goes on. There's an expectation of a whistle, and the one they're going to get is the halftime whistle. No foul called there. 1-0 your scoreline going into the break. Fort Wayne with the lead.
Yeah, and I think a deserved lead. Great start from Westchester. They created the early openings, but Fort Wayne have come back into the game very well indeed. Deserved that lead. But I think Westchester have got something to say in this game yet.
Both sides will now go to their locker rooms and see how they can attack here in the second half, and attack, as you mentioned, you expect them to do. It's been an exciting one so far. 1-0 your scoreline. We got some halftime content coming up next on ESPN+. We will see you on the other end of this break with all of that and more.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
At Trine University, we are thunderous. But how do we get that way? One rumble at a time. Every challenge faced, every insight earned, every setback surmounted puts you on the path to exceed all expectations, yours included. It's why Trine graduates have an over 99% employment rate and make noise in whatever field we choose. What kind of noise, you ask? Here's a hint. Hear more at trine.edu.
Partnership between O&E, Orthopedics Northeast, and Parkview Sports Medicine is unique because our team is taking care of the athlete in their own environment on the field. O&E is the other end of our treatment when someone actually does have an injury that requires a specialist care.
We have athletic trainers, we have the physical therapists, and everyone's important. Everyone has a role to play because our goal is the same. We're just trying to get these athletes back to doing what they love to do.
Back here for halftime here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium, 1-0 in favor of Fort Wayne. Well, if you have not checked out The Experience, which is a series on the USL YouTube channel, here's a taste of their newest entry, the heartbeat of the Gem State, AC Boise. Let's get a little preview.
I think Idahoans have been clamoring for something that is theirs.
Feel a big sense of responsibility to do this right. You only get one first season.
For me, without soccer, it's like there's no air. Having it here, I feel like I can breathe again. Boise's never had anything like this.
With the field for World Cup 2026 now set, the USL can enjoy its place in the countdown to history. Never before has an active USL player taken part in a World Cup, until now. For the past 2.5 years, more than 30 players from USL Championship and League One battled through World Cup qualifying. This summer, 6 of them have a chance to hit the field for their respective countries. Miami FC teammates Eloy Rom and Jurgen Lacadia made history, helping Curacao qualify for the World Cup for the first time ever. Curacao will face Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador in group play. And for the first time since 1974, Haiti will take part in the World Cup, following a very unique road through qualifying. 4 championship players, Duke Lacroix and Garvin Matusala of Colorado Springs, Delence Pierre from FC Tulsa, and Carl Sente from New Mexico United, led Haiti through qualifying without playing a home match. Now the Haitian team faces a tough group at the World Cup with matches against Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. But while World Cup qualifying owned the spotlight in late March, several USL players took part on U.S. youth national teams, also on the world stage. Colton Swan of Charleston Battery scored a goal for the U.S. under-20 team against Argentina in Argentina. Orange County SC's Tyson Espy played for the under-17 team in Paraguay. And the U.S. under-18 team played in Portugal, featuring Ramiz Hamuda from Birmingham Legion, Brandon Days of Louisville City, and Jameer Johnson from Orange County SC.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain does doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Goes for goal! It is a buzzsaw from Boise! Back post, crashing in! Max Glasser delivers for Naples!
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
You're watching halftime content here on ESPN Plus. Still waiting for the second half to get going here from Ruoff Mortgage Stadium, where it is 1-0 in favor of the home side. Well, this is what's happening in this game, but we've got a whole league full of action happening today, this Saturday. Here's a look of what's coming up the rest of today. Corpus Christi and Charlotte Independent should be getting started here in just a moment, and then AV Alta and Fort Madison tonight should be fun, but tomorrow, that's a game to tune into. Spokane Velocity, FC Naples, two teams near the top of the table. Should be a ton of fun. And then, as we've been marketing here, Athletic Club Boise and FC Naples on Wednesday on CBS Sports Network. Love when League One gets the national treatment. So be sure to tune into that one on Wednesday and maybe double screen the one Knoxville Union Omaha game as well, because that's a spicy game too. So a lot of good games coming up once this one is concluded. But there's also a ton of other games that are currently happening or have just wrapped up. I mentioned earlier, Matt Bentley, a hat trick and an assist against Sarasota Paradise earlier today. And then between Greenville and Richmond and Union Omaha and Portland Hearts of Pine, the road teams are both in the lead. Majid Marana with the goal for the Richmond Kickers, and the young Tyler Huck, who has scored for Portland Hearts of Pine, trying to bounce back after that loss on Wednesday against Fort Wayne FC. A lot of great USL League One action happening. It's always a fun, compact weekend here in the league as we get ready for another fun half of action here. So we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have the highlights, the stats, and more importantly, the second 45 here. We'll see you then.
What does success look like to you? At Purdue University Fort Wayne, you have what it takes. In the herd, your voice will be heard, and you'll be able to lead, inspire, create, and succeed. When you earn your Purdue degree in our thriving city, you can have an impact, and that impact can change the world.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
If you want to learn how to fan the football way, ask the fans with a Modelo. Only they know how to celebrate with strangers as if they were lifelong friends. To lose their voice for weeks after chanting for 90 minutes. They are always ready to teach you the ways of football, because to them, passion is meant to be shared. So go ahead, ask the fans with a Modelo.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the League One headlines. Fort Wayne FC finally got to enjoy the feeling of playing a home match last weekend. The grand opening of Ruoff Mortgage Stadium began with 4 goals in the opening 15 minutes, ending in a 2-2 draw with Charlotte Independence. Fort Wayne played 5 away matches in all competitions before that home opener, but gets to enjoy 6 of 7 at home during the month of May. Knoxville's run to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup earned $50,000 in prize money for being the last remaining League One team in the tournament. Knoxville's signature moment was a victory at DC United in penalty kicks in the round of 32. Congratulations to Greenville Triumph defender Brandon Fricke, the first player to surpass 15,000 minutes in League One history. The numbers are incredible. 173 starts, 49 clean sheets, and he will challenge you on headers, winning 469 aerial duels, the second most in League One history. Upcoming national broadcast: AC Boise and FC Naples next Wednesday. Then it's Richmond Kickers and Charleston Battery in the USL Cup, and Rhode Island hosts Brooklyn in the USL Championship. All 3 matches on the CBS Sports Network. The second half is getting closer. Let's get you back out to your match.
Thank you, Dan. We're almost ready for the second half to get started here at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. But before we get to that, let's catch you up on everything that took place in the first 45 minutes of action. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here on the broadcast. Early on, it looked like Westchester were the more likely team to find the back of the net, Simon.
Yeah, finding the woodwork there. Instinctive finish in the box. Crashing off the post. Could have gone anywhere. Good opportunities coming for Westchester. Great save there from Bernd Shipman. Holding his ground and then getting that left arm out, using all of his experience.
It's a strong hand from Shipman as he's able to knock away that shot and keep it at 0-0. And then in the 35th minute, the counterattack, the strike here from Fort Wayne. Tucked home by Tay Healy.
Takes it first time, absolute confidence. Scored in midweek, and you can tell he had no doubt at all about where that ball was going to end up. Nice leave there for him. Smart work from Ricol to that dummy, but what a finish. Absolute brilliant finish.
A scorching shot from Healy and a 1-0 lead for Fort Wayne. As we look at the numbers, ended up getting the edge in possession, but you look at the shots and the shots on target, still leaning towards Westchester.
Yeah, Westchester's front line have looked dangerous, and you think in this second half they are going to get more chances. It's going to be a busy half, I think, for Bernd Shipman. But Fort Wayne also looking dangerous. That front 3 of theirs, very dynamic, working well together. So goals could come at either end in this second half, and I'm sure we're going to get at least a couple.
Both teams looking to keep going at it in this affair. And so we are now just have to wait for action to get going here. See those 2 burgers?
They look good, those burgers, don't they? They really do.
I mean, I'd be chowing those down. And I'd be wanting to eat them now before the game gets started, because then I'm going to get back to the chanting and singing and whatnot.
New stadium. They've got the catering right, it looks like. They've got the catering right for sure.
As you see Noah Powder there, getting the shoelaces right. He will be coming into the match to start off this second half. He was starting in that previous game against Richmond and has been a starter for most of this season. He'll be subbing in for Charlie Dickerson, who was taking his place in the first 45 minutes, but Powder, experienced vet in this league and on this team, as a guy who's another one of those returners. Certainly a guy that they'll be relying on here to add some extra offensive firepower from the back line.
Yeah, it won't do them any harm to get more players forward. Playing with that attack and a five-man midfield behind it, there's been a limit in the amount of bodies that have been in there in forward positions. So adding an attacking fullback into there could really help them get an extra man over, take advantage of the width of this field that we were talking about.
It's certainly an adjustment, but now it can't really be an excuse for Westchester. You've played 45 minutes of action on it. You've gotten acclimated. So now take advantage of what you've learned and see where you could go from here. George Jokai, such a big, I guess, emphasizer of being in a good learning environment where players can realize as the game is occurring what they need to do and what spaces they need to be taking. He's not as much of the tactical X's and O's savant, George Jokai, as he himself said he doesn't want to be. He wants to be a guy that provides the environment for these players to think and express themselves and sort of understand how they fit into the match.
And it's been that kind of game where you need those kind of skills because, you know, Fort Wayne at the start were pretty slow out of the blocks, weren't they? They didn't really impose themselves on the game in the first 15, 20 minutes. Then they start to really cause problems. And as a team, you've got to adjust to that. You've got to be able to think on your feet. You can't be looking to your coach all the time to tell you, drop an extra man into this position. You've got to know how to deal with it yourself.
And you can see the tucked-in shirt of Javier Armas subbing on for Fort Wayne. So I highlighted that this is a guy they really like to play through, and so they had to learn to play without him in the first 45. Well, now they've got their guy back on the pitch, the 26-year-old Spaniard. Such a reliable option in the middle of the pitch. Subbing on for Emerson Nieto. So both coaches deciding to dig into the bag coming out of the break.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of Emerson Nieto, did we, in the first half? Game passed him by a little bit, so he'll be looking for Javier to get in there and create and get a little bit more vibrancy in that midfield where they were keeping possession very well, rotating the ball very well, but looking for a little bit more flair, perhaps.
Well, Javier Armas certainly dangerous with a long pass, too, especially if he's searching for Lilian Recall. So that's something that Westchester will need to keep their eyes on and never get caught snoozing. I welcome you back here to the Roo. 2 changes, 1 for each team. This one is 1-0 after a Tague Healy goal in the first half. Just what do we have in store for us here in the second 45? 2 young teams, which means you can have some great flashes, but also, as we've talked about, there could be inconsistencies, and so that can lend itself to literally any sort of result from here on out.
But we look at that record that Fort Wayne have had from their first 6 games, 2-2-2. Bear in mind how many of those games we were on the road, though, while their stadium was getting ready. So it's not quite as bad a start to the season as perhaps it looks on paper when you take into account those have been heavily weighted towards road games. And now they've got this spell to compensate for that of home game after home game.
This one rolled up ahead. Evans, one-timer headed down. He was able to combine with Blumstein, but he couldn't put it on frame.
Big chance this. Really should have been finding the target here. Kuhn Blumstein, great whipping. And he's got the goal at his mercy there. He knows it. The reaction says it all. Should have been hitting the target there.
So a quick start once again for Westchester here to start the half. And now they need to find something for it. Foul on Ian Abbey, knocking down Maximus Jennings, who is making the run forward. I wanted the quick restart, but Jennings was barely back up on his feet.
Bundle of energy, isn't he, Ian Abbey? He just wants to be involved all the time.
Constantly buzzing the 22-year-old. There's George Jokai. Charge for first year here for Westchester in their second year as a club. They're in a bit of a kind of the opposite of Fort Wayne here in May, where Fort Wayne's got all these home games. Westchester going to be on the road a lot here in May, as this one switched over to the right-hand side. Burko along the byline. Did he keep that one in bounds? I'm going to say it's a goal kick. Yeah, they have the road game to Richmond last week. Got this road game here. And then they have their one home match against New York Cosmos in the USL Cup. And then they got 2 more road games going into June. So just home 1 time here in the month of May.
Make sure they've got a frequent flyer miles sorted out.
For sure. Make sure you get into those lounges, and also never bad to pick up a airport snack too. At least I'm always doing that. Mike Avery looking to really build some form here during this home stretch in the month of May. This one sent through by Healy, trying to find Recall. And it's out for a corner kick for Fort Wayne. Tonight's corner kicks, are presented by More Wealth Management, helping individuals and families in Fort Wayne plan for a stronger financial future. That'll be the first corner here in the second half.
Right in front of that supporters section as well, the Hive. You can just see and imagine what that's going to be like when they're allowed to get bigger crowds, bigger numbers into this stadium. The Drummers giving it plenty, but they'd love to see a goal right in front of them.
Rempel plays it short. Recall gives it right back. Rempel had that one blocked away. And so they'll have another go at it. So another More Wealth Management corner kick, as this time it'll be Javier Armas who will go over there, whom has taken them from the left corner flag and matches past. Rempel, the guy they really like on set pieces for the most part, except for in this particular context. Armas. Up in the air. Good touch, squared across, ripped to goal. It's a body block. Laid out to the right. Floated up. Still in the mixer. Rempel. Ripping it back into the penalty area. Healy settles it down. His cross goes in. Recall!
Oh.
It's a split save. Luca Marinelli with the twitch reaction. Wow, what a sequence.
Well, the standing goalkeeper under pressure, coming in without game experience under his belt, but he's come up big with this one. Great work to float it back. Ball comes out. He hits that so hard, so sweet through a crowded penalty area. The goalkeeper would have hardly seen anything until the last second there. Great reflexes, and he's more than justified that call up on a 25-day contract.
And then the yellow card after the fact issued to Jeremy Garay. Yellow cards presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. Several opportunities there for Fort Wayne to double their lead, and Westchester holding it down. Defenders getting in the way of shots. And then the goalkeeper stepping up big time. Abby now. And that's going to be a yellow card offense on Maximus Jennings. He's stunned.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. At first look, I thought Ian Abbey just fell over the ball, actually, but let's have a look at it again. Slight touch on the shoulder, perhaps enough to justify going down, maybe. Wasn't much in it, though.
So that yellow card also brought to you by Arnold Terrell and Riddenauer, attorneys at law. Maximus Jennings, that's his 5th yellow card in just 7 league matches this season. So, guy has gotten into the books rather often this season.
I feel like Fort Wayne going for the jugular early on in this half to get that second goal and really get in total command of this game.
Armas. That one not fully clear. Offside flag goes up. So after that play, the collision doing some damage. Run forward being made, and once again, it's Thiago Dias who went down in the first half as well after he kind of got flipped on the corner kick. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 in the Sirius XM app. So play has resumed. There's a good opening chance here in the second half for Westchester, and then Fort Wayne have a handful of their own. Jennings not liking his options going forward. You could see it in his body language. Here's McGlynn. Lifting it back over to Jennings. Him and Ian Abbey really going at it here. Down a goal on the road. These are the moments that you're really trying to test and learn about the character of your group, and you really got to lean on the chemistry. And George Jokai mentioned as this one's kept in bounds by Recall. Recall working his way in, played it across the middle. That is a dangerous touch from Noah Powder.
How easy would that have been to be an own goal? Dangerous ball from Recall, who's having an excellent game, we have to say. He's been a threat all night long, whether it be coming from those wide positions there or when he's occupying that central striker role. He's a real handful.
It'll be a more wealth management corner kick. Recall's efforts give them this set piece opportunity, which is what started, which was a onslaught of chances the last time they had a corner. Armas. Not a bad looking ball. Will be nodded away. Rempel able to reach Armas. Another service, and that one's lacking something there. So if you're Westchester, you're really leaning on that chemistry of this group, and George Jokai loves the camaraderie this team has. He said if you were a fly on the wall in training, you want to hang out with these guys. They really enjoy each other in training every single day, and the atmosphere on the grounds is really, really good, and you really need that as a crew, because if you don't, then you hit adversity like this, and if you don't really like the guy to your left and your right, then you're not really willing to fight for them.
It's half the battle, isn't it? It really is. Being willing to fight for each other, being willing to sacrifice.
Abbey trying to dash forward. Abbey sliding it to Recall. Lily on Recall. Still working.
Such a good play.
He is doing some damage. Earns the glance off of Bowman. So it's out for a corner kick once again. Another more wealth management corner kick that Javier Armas will trot his way over to deliver. So a set piece chance here once again for Fort Wayne as they're trying to double their advantage. They've been asking. Punched away. That one not hit cleanly by JP Jordan. It rolls harmlessly to the byline. And play will halt because 2 more changes are coming into the game for Coach Joe Kai. 2 familiar names here. Jonathan Jimenez will sub on and look to add some extra firepower up top, reloading for Kun Blumstein, who had himself some really good looks in this game, just couldn't quite put them away. And then the other Powder subs on, Samori Powder in for Maximus Jennings, who picked up a yellow card. You want to make sure that he doesn't get that second one and really put you in a bad spot.
Also into the match for Blumstein is number 27, Jonathan Jimenez.
So those 2 changes are made. We'll see if these subs can be the difference makers for the road team.
So Powder and Powder at fullbacks for Westchester, yeah.
A brotherly duo from the outside. Both coming over from Trinidad and Tobago. Also both returning players from last year's side. Rempel. Rolling it to Armas. Javier Armas launches it over to JP Jordan. Does well to settle it down.
But you look at the performance of Lilian Ricol tonight. What a smart acquisition he's looking like he was. You know, he had 1 season at UCF, yeah, coming over from France where he'd been with 2 or 3 different clubs, not quite broken through in the professional ranks, a couple of seasons in the lower divisions in France. Comes over to UCF, plays well, decides after 1 year, that's it, I'm going back into the pro game, I'm going back into USL. And he comes in and he looks a top player, doesn't he?
He looks the part for certain. And he has the numbers to back it as well. So even if you don't give the eye test, you just look at his stats so far. 4 goals across competitions, 1 assist. So already off to a great start. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. So 60 minutes through, 30 more minutes on the deck. Fort Wayne with the lead after Tay Keeley smashed one home in the first half. But it has been a lively match between these 2 sides. Not too many moments to snooze. Mike Avery looking on and I'd be pleased with how this one is really unraveled in the second half. Jimenez over to Evans as he will gash it out to the left-hand side, tap back to him. Evans rotated out to the channel where the cross comes in. That's one good touch. Played over to Burko. Cleared away by Diash. Able to prevent the corner as well. Just launching it over to the touchline. And Powder couldn't settle in that inaccurate pass.
Getting the Powder brothers into the game on those wide areas. I mean, they are positions on the field that require a lot of physical energy, especially in the modern game. And then you talk about on a field like this where there is that little bit extra space down the wide areas. So keeping fresh, getting fresh legs into the game for the last half hour in the wide areas is a smart move.
And they are certainly 2 players that can bring a little bit of that extra sauce too. Coming off the bench, you know, you're so eager to come in and leave that impact, especially if you're a player that's more used to starting. Samori Powder with 3 starts this season, Noah Powder with 5. As our head official, Stefan Perry, looking to make sure the peace is kept here after a rogue ball is rolled onto the pitch. Evans. Boy, is he crafty with the ball at his feet, and he draws the foul here. He's a guy that George Jokai highlighted to us, saying He is really good when he gets the ball, and players are going to foul him.
Yeah, and he's getting tired of players fouling him as well. That's the other thing he told us. But he wants to see players protected a little bit more by the referees. But I think this ref's done a good job tonight. He's been quick with the card on those kind of fouls that might be dangerous for a creative player. But dangerous situation this now.
The wall is being structured by Burnt Shipman. It's going to be a 5-player wide wall. Ian Abbey leaves it to be perhaps the chaser for the player sitting out wide. But it's taken directly to goal. Not bad shape from Dean Guzin, but not quite accurate enough. So this will go out for a goal kick, and it looks like we're going to get our first change in the second half, at least outside of the halftime break for Mike Avery and his team. Whether it be now or next stoppage. So they're going to hold for a moment and wait until next moment to execute on the sub. But Mike Avery, the man in charge of this Fort Wayne team over the past few years in the USL 2 and the jump to the pro level, he mentioned that transition, it's just a little bit more of everything.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the first half that the USL 2 schedule in the summer is just so crammed because, you know, you got all those college guys that you want to make sure can play the whole season. And then now you actually have time to prepare for an opponent and dive into the weeds a little bit with what they're trying to do and how you could potentially unlock them. And then marrying the analytics with your instincts as a coach.
Yeah, and you step up a level, you get much more of the data world entering your system as a coach. Mike Avery, I wouldn't say he was a data skeptic, but I think he's somebody who values that input but wants to know what it really means. Yeah, people can get overly interested in the data. Promising situation here.
Powder, and that glanced off of. Well, we'll say it's going to be off of Powder last. It's definitely up for question as now that sub is getting ready. Kabiru Gafar will be subbing into the game for Oyatunde. Gafar put in a great shift on Wednesday. And we'll be getting some burn again here in the second half. We've got players from France, from Portugal, from other parts of the country. Spain, and now you got the guy from Indianapolis, Indiana, so not too far away from Fort Wayne. Still within the state, from near and far on this roster. Javier Armas taking a lick there.
Just get a little bit scrappy with the amount of fouls we're getting these last 10 minutes or so.
It'll be interesting to see how Stefan Perry, our head official, manages this uptick in physicality. Rempel helps up his teammate, and we'll get action going again here. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Tay Keeley going to be given the yellow card here.
For dissent, he didn't like that call, the handball.
That yellow card presented by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer, attorneys at law, protecting your rights on and off the pitch. Communications with our head official, communications with our fourth official, everyone trying to be on the same page of what is to be expected of players. I've said it before on broadcast, and I'll say it again. I do not empathize, or not empathize, I do not envy being a fourth official in a soccer match because you're just getting it for both those managers the entire game.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, when I was back in England a few times, I was sat behind the dugouts.
Oh, boy.
Where I remember one game with a team who'd put their assistant coach like he had nothing else to do that day other than yell abuse at the fourth official. And he did it with full enthusiasm for 90 minutes.
Ball sent over to the left-hand side. Nodded towards danger, but couldn't be connected with for Westchester. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better that one of the assistant coach does it and then get him in trouble, and then you could keep managing the game. At least that would be the perspective of the head coach in this situation.
It is a thankless task, the fourth official role there, though.
Someone's got to do it, but yeah, it can be brutal sometimes. Bowman dribbling it forward. Roll it out to Powder. Noah Powder, that is. Tripped up a little bit. Vying for a jersey tug, but he will get the throw in, so it'll effectively work the same. McGlynn. One-on-one with Armas there. Two very quality midfielders there, Connor McGlynn and Javier Armas. Two cornerstone players, I should say, for their respective teams.
If you walked into that stadium and you didn't have a team sheet with the numbers and you said which one of those players on that field is Jack McGlynn's brother, you'd know pretty quickly. It's the body language, the movements, the positions he takes up. Very similar, obviously more right-footed, whereas Jack's left-footed, but very, very similar players.
Some habits and talents run deep in the family. Evans running this one forward. Plays it back to Pierre, who now will rip it over to the right-hand side. Doesn't connect with his target. Healy. Clean challenge according to our official. Play goes on. I think there was even a moment Bobby Pierre was waiting to see if he'd get a whistle for that or not.
Yeah.
Powder chips it back to Pierre. 20 minutes left to go in this game.
Healy, just having been booked for dissent, is not going to be appealing too strongly for that one. Right in front of the referee again.
At least he would be wise not to.
Yeah.
Got to keep your head on your shoulders, and it was good when you see a 22-year-old able to make that assessment of a situation.
Well, it does feel like this game is drifting now. We're going towards the 20-minute mark where, you know, having started this half with Fort Wayne looking like they were going out there determined to get a second goal and put the game to bed, now you start to feel like they're trying to manage this game out a little bit, and Westchester have to respond to that. That's effectively saying to them, come on then, show us what you can do, because you haven't really shown as much in this half.
At Bellevue University, your success is the only thing that matters. That's why they offer education that's designed to help you achieve your next goal. Find out more at degrees.bellevue.edu/goals. I'm gonna talk 1,000-foot view here with you. You just mentioned that Fort Wayne may be settling in a little bit more into this game and just allowing Westchester to come at them. If you were just told in a game that you're up a goal, don't apply the context of this match in particular, but when do you like a team to go into that mode? When is it too early? When is it too late? As Guzin juts it to the middle. Evans shifting, shooting, just off the mark. And he knows he just had a quality opportunity. Here is a look on the instant replay presented by Bowen Health, caring for the mental wellness of our community every day. So close for Kyle Evans. As Tate Healy will see his night come to an end, and Clarence Aoudor will sub in. So the goal scorer in this match will hit the bench for the rest of this one.
It's like for like, that's what, isn't it, really? A creative midfielder, somebody who can play in behind the strikers as well. So no great tactical shift with that. Going back to your question, yeah, I think the last 10-15 minutes, so we're approaching that sort of time now. I think 20-25 is asking for trouble sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know, you're inviting teams to come on to you. But let's see. I mean, Westchester really haven't created that much in this second half.
Perhaps some changes in personnel and changes in approach can spark a different fire in this Westchester team as they hunt for an equalizer. But still, up to this point in a game that's had a ton of excitement, it's just the one goal the difference. And as time goes on, you start wondering more and more. That shot off the post so early in the game, how much of a difference is that making? That certainly would have changed the tenor of the match if that one was just a fraction to the right and went in and bested Bernd Shipman early in the game. Powder sliding it up to Kyle Evans. Evans driving it in the middle. Goes in, lets it fly! Oh. And once again, the woodwork has been wrong.
Well, he does everything right here. Ball laid off to him by McGlynn, looks up, finds a space onto his left foot, hits it towards the corner, and it's just inches away from equalising there. Smart footwork, quick footwork, good delivery, good shot. Woodwork denies it.
It's like it was waiting on cue, just bringing up that occasion in the first half, and then something to punch you in the gut again here in the second with 15 to go.
Should just inject that little bit of belief that seemed to be disappearing a little bit from Westchester in this second half.
This one will be slid up ahead. Guzin. And it'll be a foul. So before this restart can be taken, I think we're going to get a couple more changes. And after some like-for-like substitutions, I think we're getting some non-like-for-like substitutions for Fort Wayne now. But first, Miguel Diaz making his way back into the fray after being hurt. The Brooklyn native subbing on for Alexi Armas, adding some extra firepower. And then on the Fort Wayne side of things, Juan Solis, the center back, subbing in for Ian Abbey. So that's definitely not like for like.
Right.
And then Recall will sub out of the game for Jaden Smith, another one of those wingers who have some electricity up top. But the main task will be to make sure that you hold on to this 1-0 lead, and if there's a counterattack opportunity, then you can take it. But they're hunkering in now, Fort Wayne. Garay. Good touch into space, but then it's closed quickly by Connor McGlynn. Powder. Rolling it back to Bowman. It's Luca Marinelli. In just his second professional start on that brief contract, trying to prove his worth in a tough situation as far as goalkeepers are concerned for Westchester. Armas. Lays it in for Rempel. Here's Abudor. Has Garay making a run. Garay back to Abudor. Parried away by Marinelli. We're really looking for a punishing blow there. And now Samori Powder with some real estate. Oh, Powder. Oh, never mind. There's someone down there at the bottom of the touchline. Diaz. Trying to see if he can jump by Michael Rempel. Wins the throw-in.
Yeah, comes to our door, and he's curling that towards the far corner. Maybe wanting to get a little bit more power on it, but for Marinelli, again, a great save.
Going to be a Fort Wayne throw, and yeah, there's a little bit too much displeasure being displayed there by Daniel Bowman. It'll be his first yellow card of the season. Yellow card brought to you by Arnold Terrell Riddenauer Attorneys at Law. So jot that one in the book if you're our head official, Stefan Perry. And now we wait for the throw-in after he logs everything necessary.
He's had a busy night, hasn't he, really, Stefan Perry?
Yeah, he has.
Never got out of control, but he's done a good job of keeping it under control, but he's had to work for his money tonight.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Armas. Rolling it back to JP Jordan. Here's Ghaffar with the turn. Kabiru Ghaffar was occupying the same space there as Abu Dor, or I guess you could say Abu Dor was occupying the same space as Ghaffar. Ended up stifling that opportunity just a little bit.
They've got some depth in this roster, haven't they, Fort Wayne? Someone Abu Dor, you know, what he did in college soccer last year with UCF as well. You know, playing alongside
Lilian Rico.
Yeah.
Talk about a dynamic duo at the college ranks.
And he's coming in to play, replacing him here. You think that at some stage they're going to try the pair of them together, see if they can recreate that dynamism they had and the understanding that they had, but
could be something here for Jaden Smith. Smith tries it quickly, looking to see if he could squeak it by Luca Marinelli. Ball lopped over to the right-hand side. Rempel nods it out of play. Under 10 minutes left of the 90. Can Westchester find an answer? Will Fort Wayne hang on tight here? Had several chances to score in that Richmond game, and on many occasions it took someone other than the goalkeeper to clear it off the line for Westchester to not get on the board in that game. George Jakai mentioned that these guys are aware of where they need to improve in that regard. They're running the situations in training. They're pros. They understand. And his goal as a coach is to provide the environment to help them work through those tweaks and let them learn from those deficiencies and come to those conclusions themselves. Very much about developing players and, you know, I mean, giving them the autonomy to figure it out. I mean, they're the ones that are on the pitch anyway, so you got to learn the game as it's happening. Guzin lifting it into the box. And the whistle sounds from Stefan Perry. So Bernd Shipman will be the one to restart things here. Fort Wayne looking to make it back-to-back wins here and make it in their first 3 games at home. 3 games unbeaten, a draw and 2 wins should they hang on to this one, but there's still tons of time left.
You'd take that as a start, though, wouldn't you, in a new stadium? Which seems to do weird things to teams sometimes. You know, we've seen it with Inter Miami in MLS who can't win at home, but we saw it with West Ham United in their stadium in London, Tottenham when they played at Wembley. All these kind of new environments do strange things to teams, and so to start off with 3 games in a week helps, gets you used to it very, very quickly. But if they can come out of it with 2 wins and a draw, that'd be a great start to life at this great venue.
Yeah, it's not a guaranteed positive coming to a new home place. They've certainly made sure it would be so, though. This one spun out. Rempel, no nonsense defending. Been a busy man in this game, Michael Rempel. Noah Powder. Rolling it out to Burko on the left-hand side, who puts it back in centrally. Looking to get some numbers forward now, Westchester, as the moments wind away. You throw more and more of that caution to the wind. Guzin out to Powder. Smith is there defending, and he'll keep it in bounds. Good understanding between him and Reed Sproat there. As Gaffar and Pierre are jousting for it, and Pierre once again victorious. He's been strong when he's been put in those situations, Bobby Pierre. Hasn't let some of these pacey Fort Wayne players get the better of him. Powder on the other side, Samori Powder in the corner with Rempel in front of him. Finds Diaz. Now Guzin. Really turning into bunker down time now for Fort Wayne. He's trying to absorb everything Westchester throws at him. Diaz. Rotates the back line. Pierre, not the cleanest touch. Prevents anything from incredibly dangerous. Generating, though, is now Westchester are on the prowl again. Ball rolled in centrally. Kyle Evans got a piece, but so did Bert Shipman.
Shipman coming up big again. So reliable. Every time they've needed him tonight, he's responded. Evans also doing exactly what you need to do at that near post. He makes the run, he gets the delicate touch, it's going goalward, but Shipman reacting well, getting down at that corner. Not easy to keep those out. Keeps it 1-0.
Westchester trying to find a breakthrough on the set piece. Sproat, the first one on it. Well, a scuffed clearance from Garay. Sputters out for another corner kick.
Westchester sensing something here, aren't they? They feel a vulnerability at these set pieces.
Samori Powder. Well, that was knotted along with some threat. Lifted back in. Well, poked into the woods, but there are only black jerseys around. Pierre has it blasted away from him. But they will continue to rain fire here. Jimenez. Rolling into Guzin. Back out to Jimenez. Cutting pass. Knocked away by Diaz. It is a peppering of opportunities for Westchester.
Been relentless this last 5 minutes, the pressure. Westchester just camped in the final third of the field.
Can they find the relief of a breakthrough here? Powder stepping in. Well, he was going for glory and came awfully short there. Noah Powder has some quality to him from distance, so certainly will have hoped for better off of that one.
Finally some relief for that Fort Wayne defense. They've been under pressure there for a long time. Take a breather now, take their time, and really need to get that ball under control and get it down the other end of the field for a while.
Gonna call a foul here on Juan Solis, who's also the one on the ground. Well, I'll let you make the determination of what you think Mike Avery thinks of that decision. Doesn't take a body language expert to understand. Powder rolling it along that touchline. Diaz able to cut it through. Powder, not a bad touch. But the gate's closed. And now Armas will try to get it out of harm's way. Javier Armas composed under pressure.
Smart work, that's where you need the experience and the confidence. 3 minutes to go and he's taking the ball, working it around, trying to keep space, but above all trying to keep possession for his team.
Time running out here for Westchester as Fort Wayne maybe on the hunt for the final blow. Gaffar out to his right. Smith rolling it across the middle and kind of awarded a corner kick here because that one was not close to Abudor, but Daniel Bowman wasn't too privy to that. So in comes a more wealth management corner for Fort Wayne. And you wonder if they even opt to whip this one in or if they'll have someone check short. As we see 3 more minutes tacked on.
Only 2 Fort Wayne players inside the box.
Armas able to maintain possession. Noah Powder not a fan of the decision. Michael Renpool going to make sure the fans in attendance are in favor of it.
Powder should want to get the game started again because they went in that corner for one reason only, and that was to run down the clock. And while you're arguing and holding the ball in your hand, they're doing a great job of running the clock down. Now we have a discussion with the referee because you've been protesting as well, so
it's detrimental dissent here in the closing stages of this match. Armas essentially boxing out Powder. Now he's double teamed, and Guzin boots the ball away, couldn't keep it in bounds. Jaden Smith certainly in no rush to throw it, and now he'll relinquish that responsibility rather tactfully after going up to the ball. Some classic gamesmanship being displayed here as Fort Wayne are looking to grind out the rest of these seconds.
will Westchester get that one more chance? They've had plenty of opportunities in this game. They will feel that they deserved a point from this game, I think, from the opportunities that they've had. And now they've got just under a minute to try and construct one more last chance and see if they can finally get the ball past Burn Shipman.
About 30 seconds left to go. Noah Powder on the ball. Bowman. Rolls it to Pierre.
This is all well and good, but that clock is running down, and you've got to find a way to turn this possession into that one final cross into the box, that one final opportunity for your strikers. There he goes.
A diving header from Reed Sproat, and it's won back by Fort Wayne. Powder gets it for Westchester. Whistle could sound any moment. McGlynn to Guzin. Guzin swerving left. Still with the ball. Plays it up. Guzin. Good ball through to Evans. It goes out of play for a corner kick.
Well, that's great defending there.
Looks like they're going to give him the chance to take this corner kick. That's a lovely ball through. And up comes Luca Marinelli. Service, swung inside, falls down. Block shot. Gaffar gets in the way. Evans tried to wrestle it back, but the final whistle sounds. Fort Wayne with back-to-back wins at home. They claim 7 of the potential 9 points in this 3-game chunk. Victorious 1-0 over Westchester in what was an exciting affair.
You look at the Westchester players out on that field, lying on their backs, literally exhausted. They've given everything they could in that game. Fort Wayne did too. 1-0 doesn't sound like the most thrilling game, but that has been an enthralling contest from start to finish.
Let's take a look at today's Parkview Sports Medicine Man of the Match, and it is Lilian Ricol, whom you had a ton of praise for throughout this game.
Lively, inventive, great technique, smart, intelligent player. Could have easily had a couple of goals, always looking to bring his teammates into it as well. He looks like a player who's going to have a huge impact on this season for Fort Wayne. And, you know, he may not be the quickest guy, perhaps that's what he's missing in his game, but he's got pretty much everything else you need to lead the line.
With that in mind, this is where the soccer action ends, but this is not where our broadcast concludes. We're going to step aside for a brief break. When we come back, we'll have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+. But Fort Wayne victorious, 1-0 over Westchester SC.
At Ruoff Mortgage, we understand that you don't just need a mortgage. You need someone who knows your kid's name, your dream for a backyard, and that this is more than a house. At Ruoff, we've got your person, the one you'll lean on from your pre-approval to the closing table. Your loan officer will be there with you every step of the way. The right home begins with the right person by your side.
The partnership between O&E, Orthopedics Northeast, and Parkview Sports Medicine is unique because our team is taking care of the athlete in their own environment on the field. O&E is the other end of our treatment when someone actually does have an injury that requires a specialist care.
We have athletic trainers, we have the physical therapists, and everyone's important. Everyone has a role to play because our goal's the same. We're just trying to get these athletes back to doing what they love to do.
A lot of reasons to wave the flag here over the span of about 8 days at Ruoff Mortgage Stadium. 7 out of 9 points claimed by Fort Wayne in these first 3 home matches, and they got 3 in this one. 1-0 your final scoreline between them and Westchester. Mark Schoenster, Simon Evans with you here on the broadcast. Things got going early in this one, and it looked like Westchester were the more likely team to score in the first few minutes.
Yeah, the first 15, 20 minutes, Westchester. First 15, 20 minutes, Westchester causing all kinds of problems. But then Fort Wayne gradually growing into the game, and this was an absolutely fantastic finish. The ball wasn't quite there in front of him, it was just behind him, but Take Healy delivering a majestic finish.
Just able to rip it along the side netting, claiming a third goal at the root for Take Healy. There's been 3 games he has scored, and all 3 of them in this building, so I think he likes his new home turf. Then in the second half, as things went along, they came awfully close to a second. I mean, that is a missile from Lilian Ricol, but Luca Marinelli wasn't having it.
No, I mean, this comes flying through bodies, reflex. It's actually his outstretched left leg that does the save. And then hitting the post there at the other end, Westchester. It was really end-to-end stuff at this point in the second half, with Fort Wayne looking to try and seal the game, but Westchester always dangerous on the break.
Abudor trying to make it 2-0. Once again punched away by Marinelli, who has now been the victim of 2 1-0 losses, whereas he's made good saves in both games, so he's definitely arguing his case for being a full-time player on this roster.
Yeah, great save that. Curling towards the corner, I think that was going in.
And then on the other side, oh so close, Kyle Evans had several flirts with the goal, but none of them would go through. In this occasion, Bernd Shipman was ready for it.
Yeah, Shipman turned up every time he was called upon.
And then look at that, 19 shots from Westchester, 4 on target for each team. So as you mentioned, 1-0 may not be the most exciting scoreline, but this was far from being a boring game.
No, exactly. You look at it, eight shots on target combined, 28 shots between them, 7 corners, 12 corners altogether in the game. You know, there's been plenty of action in that. Both teams were trying to win that game. Both teams thought they were the winners. They were good enough to do it. And in the end, Fort Wayne just had that little bit extra sharpness in front of goal.
So they will get all 3 points, as now both teams will turn to what our rivalry matches coming up in the USL Cup. It's the Cosmos for Westchester, and it's Indy 11, the USL Championship side for Fort Wayne in the Prinks Tires USL Cup. But that's all next weekend. For our entire broadcasting crew, Simon Evans, I'm Mark Schoenster saying so long. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. And we'll see you next time here in USL League One. Your final score, Fort Wayne 1, Westchester 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.